Ah, yes. Good morning. Yes, I know I'm late. Um, I was taking care of something extremely important, so and I'm done with that now. And then I was having a good conversation with a good friend. So that is why I am late. But better late than never. I'll be competing against freight waves. You guys don't watch them anyways, right? You don't care about that information, do you? It's good information. Will it help you? It depends. They've been doing this summit thing, and I will add. Let me get rid of this windshield here. I will add that Asia Mai did Mother Trucker. He did a video of the JB Hunt guy's presentation there, talking about how a large percentage of stuff is going back on the rail, and so something to pay attention to. And he talked about the history of JB Hunt trucking in general when it came to the rail and how they were enemies at one time, but what JB Hunt did was they embraced it. They became, you guys remember back in the late 80s, early 90s, all the trains had nothing but JB Hunt, 53-foot drive-in trailers on them. And so there wasn't even an intermodal thing. They created that. They helped create that. So, but anyways, who cares about that, right? No one cares about that. It's Wednesday, November 8th. So I hope all is well with everybody. I hope you're doing okay. Got your morning coffee. I've got my white Snorelord strength for today, hope for tomorrow mug, which can be found in the video description there. But anyways, enough selling stuff. Who cares, right? You don't need a stupid coffee cup or a hat or anything. You don't need anything like that. You need to save your pennies so you can afford that new turbo that's about to go out. Or buy your wife something nice for Christmas. So, but no, I did not. I did not sleep through my appointment time, Robin. I've never done that. Like I remember one time I was at a receiver, and I was the 9 o'clock, and I showed up at 7, and there was another Snyder truck. It was when I was at Snyder. There was another Snyder truck. Curtains were drawn. He had obviously spent the night there, So I go in there and I'm like, yeah, I'm here for my 9 o'clock. It's like, well, normally it won't take you early, but looks like that guy out there is oversleep. He was supposed to be at 7 a.m. So you got his spot. Get in the dock. I'm like, yes. So it doesn't, and I was talking about this with a friend of mine just like a couple of minutes ago. Once you know your competition, it's not hard to stand out. For example, when I call on a load, I say, "Good morning. I'm looking at your load picking up between the here, going to here, reference number, 312468. Is that still available?" And right there, because remember, I'm on the broker side now, right there, that gives you an advantage over the people that are rude, the people that are hard to understand, and people that don't have any kind of social skills. That right there gives you an upper hand over your competition. So just be aware of that. Just like if you call on a broker and you can barely understand them or they're rude, you don't want to work with that person, do you? But if the broker that you call is like good to talk to, wouldn't you rather work with that broker? Even if it's a little bit less money? Because everything's going to be easy. Or at least clear. So, anyways. But anyways, enough of that, right? But it doesn't take much to outshine your competition. And right now there's a lot of competition. I posted a load on the DAT board yesterday. I didn't even have a chance to put on 123. Man, it was gone like that. And more loads than trucks. That's what's going to create, a little bit easier time for you. More trucks than loads, you've got competition now. And all these people are saying, well, you got to outlast the competition. Well, how do you do that? Well, number one, you got to shine more than they do. And you got to be on top of your expenses and to be able to quote unquote outlast. Those are the two things that helps you be competitive. So, all right, southbound Pachyderm, what's up? WCF Invader, late. I know you are, but what am I? Pigtail, good morning. I saw your text. I did not answer because I was getting ready to go live. Todd, good talking to you yesterday. Damn it, I wanted to be first. Pigtail says, 700 Mountain. Yes, I'm on time for that. Good morning from Medford, Oregon, Aston, Afghanistan, right? Sounds weird. I've only been there once. You slept through your appointment time. Yes, I did. CB en route to Texas. Good morning, Snorelord. Heading back to Savannah from Independence, Kentucky today. Good deal. Be safe, Lloyd. Gen Z, what's up? Morning from Tennessee, stuck west of Nashville on eastbound 24. Well, that's no good. But it's Nashville, so take the Briley. Nah, sometimes taking the Briley doesn't work. An 840 goes around Nashville pretty good. Whenever I would go to Atlanta, I would from Springfield, I would take US 60 to 57 to 55, and then 155 to what's that? US. I forget what the US highway is, and then you get on I-40. Then you take that to 840. 840 takes you to 24. You bypass all of Nashville. It's great. So, and that reminds me. So, I have a family member get ready to go on a trip, and I was talking to this family member, and I was like, "Oh yeah, you're going to go through this, this, and this, and you're going to take this highway and this highway." And they're like, "How do you memorize all that?" I said, drove for 15 years. I can literally go from probably L.A. all the way up to at least Pennsylvania before I even have to look at a map. It with no GPS. That's the important part. And they were just blown away by that. So, Mr. Charles, good morning. Sterling, I prefer incorrect information only. Well, there's a lot of that out there. Did you see Wrangle Star's newest video? That was great. DIY Semi, how dare you be chipper this time of day? It's all an act. My smile is a fake smile. Just kidding. Doesn't do any good to be all grumpy in the morning. Almond Chimera, what's up? Good morning. Jose, good morning to you. KT, good morning. CB, I'm frugal. I save money to invest in strippers. Well, I mean, you got your priorities right. Warehouse capacity. You're not frugal. I saw you do a $100 super chat in Sterling's deal yesterday. Unless he's a stripper, and that's what you meant. Revelation. Sterling wheel warehouse capacity is excessive, so it makes sense that low paying intermodal will increase. Yes. I was talking to Shannon about warehousing yesterday, and she's starting to see the things that I started to see 2 years ago about warehouses going up anywhere and everywhere, including more remote areas. And I've talked about just in time, kind of kicking everybody in the butt during COVID, so they're not going to let that happen. So if it's non-perishable, I think they're going to try to warehouse it as much as possible, especially if we go into a wartime situation. They're going to want stockpiles of everything. So just, now what that means is dynamics will change, and what it also means is that these holiday bumps or these spring bumps or these different rush times, the roller coaster that you see in the spot market graphs, they're trying to smooth them out, where it's steady all the way, all the way across. And it's the fluctuations that are hard to deal with. If you know something's going to be a price all year long, then you're not worried. But if you don't want to pay a holiday rush freight rate, you know what? If I can make this stuff a little bit earlier and get it sent to a warehouse a little bit earlier, I'll probably save on shipping. And that's the name of the game. These customers that you're delivering to or picking up with, they only have one goal. Majority of them. Some of them have a goal just for safe transportation, but most of them have a goal: keep my costs down. And they don't know what it takes to run a truck. They don't know what it takes to run a carrier. All they know is that they need to move said product from point A to point B, and they don't want it to break the bank. Once you understand that, then you can understand a lot what's going on in logistics. And that's the thing, man. You're in logistics. Yeah, you might just be a truck driver, but you got to understand logistics a little bit to kind of get a head start on your competition. Because the more you understand about your industry, the more you understand how customers and brokers and shippers and receivers work, that gives you one up on your competition that refuses to learn all that. So, or surround yourself with people that do that for you. So, we have a dozen 300,000 square foot warehouses being built every year near Reno for the last few years. Yep. Well, as California's laws get more and more strict, I think that 5 years ago would have been a good time to invest in land and real estate along the border of California and create warehouses for cross docking and treat California like you do Mexico. Warehouse it at the border, let the California trucks bring it in. And so I see that happening, and that's probably what's going on. And as we've tried to shift a lot of manufacturing to the States, that's also going to require warehousing. And then also, here's something else that I don't think anybody's thought of, but if I have a warehouse inside, say, inner city Chicago, well, number one, it's difficult for trucks to get in there. It's inefficient for trucks to get in there. And then if social unrest occurs, then now my product's in jeopardy. Why not just do a warehouse out, say, in Bolingbrook or in Kankakee, and to let the local trucks deal with the Chicago stuff and let the OTR carriers deliver it at these warehouses? And so there's a lot of that going on. Now in the Northeast, it's a little bit more difficult because you only have so much space. But out west, dude, there's a lot of space out there. So, Rome Land Services, good morning. So, but these are just my thoughts. I don't know what I'm talking about. I just, I don't even pretend to know what I talk about. These are just my observations. From somebody who's been in the industry a minute, and that's given me an advantage. It gave me an advantage in CDL school, knowing a lot of these things. I could see through the recruiter's BS, and because of everything I knew, and the recruiters even mentioned that, like, you've got family members in the trucking industry, don't you? I said, yeah. He goes, yeah, because you asked all the right questions. You called me out on my BS. There's one that was like, yeah, you kind of called me out. Stop it. So I had one recruiter get mad at me. The guy from Covenant. Oh man, if looks could kill, man, he would have killed me right then and there. And I wasn't being rude. I just asked a very logical, common sense question. And that and so here's the story. We'll do story time for a minute. So there was a gal in our class that had never even seen the inside of a truck. And she was having trouble wrapping her head around the air brake, because we were all doing the book stuff first. So we hadn't even entered the trucks yet. So I said, "Hey, well, let's go to the truck and I'll show you the valves and she understood better. And while she was in the truck, she's like looking around like, wow. I said, "You've never been inside a truck before?" She's like, "No." I'm like, "Oh, wow, okay." And so later that day, it was told by our class instructor that Covenant was coming by, was sending a recruiter. I said, "Well, is he going to come in? Is he going to be in a truck?" And the instructor looked at me and goes, "Well, why would you ask that?" I'm like, "Well, if they want to, I said, majority of these people that go to CDL school, they've never seen the inside of a truck, so it'd be more impressive to sell the product of their company by coming in with a nice truck, all decked out and everything." He's like, "Well, that's a good idea. When he gets here, why don't you ask him that?" I'm like, "Okay." So this dude shows up in a gold trimmed Cadillac. This dude had used car salesman written all over him. And the instructor, who's kind of a smart aleck, he goes, "Hey, Steve, why don't you ask him what you asked me earlier?" And so the whole class is sitting there. It's like 10 of us sitting there in front of this, this dude sitting there. He's getting ready to do his whole spiel. And I go, "Hey, I have a question." He's like, "What's that?" I said, "How come you don't show up in a truck to show off the truck? Because you guys just renewed your fleet." They had all these posters, talk about renewed fleet. "Why don't you show us the truck? And that'd be more impressive for these people who've never been inside of a truck." He's like, "Huh, well, if I did that, they'd make me sleep in it." And the minute he said that, he knew what he had just done. And he glared at me, and it threw off it threw off his whole spiel, because he made it look like he's above sleeping inside of a truck. But hey, why don't you come work for us? And realize that didn't work. And then, and to add to that, so their whole training thing at that time is once you were with the trainer, then you had the team with another new guy. And so he's trying to sell that aspect. He goes, "Okay, so all right, so let's say you've done your training and you're on your first solo load in your own truck. How are you going to feel?" And I raised my hand. I said, "Well, if you had a good trainer, you're going to feel pretty confident and you're going to go about your day." And he's like, "No, you're going to be scared." Okay. So what we do to help support that is we put another new guy in there. So I raised my hand again. He's like, "What? So now you got two scared people in a truck?" "Well, no, that's not how it works." Like, needless to say, none of our class went to Covenant after that spiel. But yeah, I gave recruiters a hard time because I knew his BS. And it was a logical question. Hey, show up with the truck. It might make a better impression than the other 5 recruiters that were coming in. I know Prime made a good impression. You know why? Because we just took a field trip to Prime. We went and saw their facility right then and there. And I think 1 or 2 of our drivers actually ended up going there because they were able to impress. They were able to wow. But of course, I was like, "Yeah, you're never going to see that. You're never going to see that. Oh, nice gym that you're never going to use because you're never going to be inside. You're never going to be home." So I didn't go with Prime, but I knew that about Prime because I had friends that were a Prime, plus, you know, the background of my history with the industry. So, anyways, so, but, so, I saw a short this morning with a bandage jar of peanut butter and jelly Sunday. Come on with it. That was funny, right? I'm sitting there. I was checking out the trailer, taking some pictures, because I might be selling it. And oh, did I say it out loud? Sorry. And that was just laying there. I thought, I'm kind of a smartass. Let's come up with something for this. And it's amazing what you'll find behind trailers at truck stops. I did a video a few years ago where I found the mattress, and I was talking about how lucky I was to find such a great product that was sitting there, for free. You have to search for it, but it was before YouTube Shorts. But I should probably turn that into a short because you'll see fat 400-pound me talk about how lucky I was to find. I was being a smart aleck, right? So, but gold trim caddy, that's DIY's old car. Is that true? I do show and tell in my truck with naive women all the time. Yeah, I know that sounded bad, right? But no, we weren't all about that. Glenn says you're such a disruptor. I am. I ruin people's plans. I'm the great ruiner. LOL. Now too scared newbies. I did. I actually said that because it just amazed me that wool was not going over anybody's eyes. It just amazed that like that doesn't change the situation. In fact, let me give you the mindset of somebody just coming out of CDL school. You just spent 6 to 8 weeks with a complete stranger that you may or may not have gotten along with. And then now you're forced to rely on another complete stranger that just learned to get a CDL, and you're going to sleep behind that person while they're going down the road. It made 0 sense. Now, as a carrier owner, I want one person for each truck. Unless they had a lot of team freight that they couldn't cover, and that's why they did things like that. But it wasn't for the benefit of the driver. It was the benefit for the carrier. We need to put 2 people in every truck because we need to double the miles of each truck. It wasn't about, oh, you're scared, so we're going to give you moral support. No, it wasn't for that at all. I saw right through it. And I the carrier that I ended up going with was the only recruiter that didn't BS us. Everything she said was true. I said, I'm going with you. And did 6 years with that company before I bought my first truck. Because I was not going to be a job hopper. I knew that. So I knew I had to pick a good company right off the bat. So I almost went to CFI, but they weren't truthful on something and almost had a bus ticket like to Joplin, like that's necessary, but and I almost signed up with them, but then I said, "Hey, you're giving me conflicting information on a couple of things." And they're like, yeah, well, just deal with it." I'm like, "Okay. Thanks. Have a good day." And then, of course, CFI went through their issues back then and became not CFI anymore, and then now they're CFI again. Whatever. So I'm glad I didn't make that move. Now, you did finish with the trainer, and you did go to Crowder and do the skid pad. I wanted to do that, but they that was probably I want to do the skid pad. I want to see what it feels like to be able to lose control in the truck and then gain it back. I wanted that skill set. So I've never been in a full slide. I've had a couple of whoa, that's sketchy, but never been in I've got to rescue myself from this slide that I'm in. I've never had that. Pigtail loves it. Calling recruiters out on their BS, priceless. Yes. I wish I could get paid to do that. Get paid to go to CDL schools and just sit in the classroom pretending I'm a student and ask the obvious questions that these guys in CDL school don't know how to ask. Carriers probably wouldn't want to pay that. So, there's that. I made it to class. I'm ready to start now. There you go, cents per mile. When the math doesn't math and the recruiter gets angry and says, yes, 90 grand a year, 2,500 miles a week, hangs up violently. That was an experience Pigtail had, right? Math is the only true language in the universe. That is true. That is true. JF Trucker, good morning. I did a skid pad once. It was interesting. Yeah, because they put these bars, like there's video footage of it. They put these bars on the side of the truck, so you're not going to tip over. But now my company, since I was becoming a trainer, they sent me to me and another guy to train the trainers class that was in Crowder there in the O show. And I'm like, cool. Did we get to do the skid pad? And he's like, normally you would, but they had just had that big Joplin tornado, and so the skid pad was full of these temporary housing developments for the tornado victims. So the college kicked in and tried to help the Joplin out. So, but any rate, come on, what it says. There's a guy in the passenger seat with controls. He'll lock the brakes up on you in a turn. Yes, yeah. That's. I wanted to do that. I wanted to do that. So, but never got a chance to. Maybe I still can. So I never got a chance to drive a big hood truck. Well, I did get a chance. Sammy makes sense was going to let me drive his truck, but it was at a truck show. But I didn't go through with it because I already had like a beer and didn't want to do that. So, all right, let's check out load availability. By the way, if you want to help out, there's the banner. So we're at the 123 low board. 48065 is the code. If you want to try it out, don't take my word for it. If you like it, cool. If not, then don't blame me. But Lauren is very he's a cool cat, man. I know a lot of people have been saying, hey, we want a from anywhere as the origin. And they had that at one time, but he's looking into um why it went away. So he said he was supposed to get back with me. So those of you asking about that, then we're trying to take care of it. So all right, let's take a look at van rates. Rates are being weird. There's some great volumes in different places, but they are definitely not paying you to go into other good places. It's kind of weird right now. So in Arizona, it's weird. Arizona is green, which is rare for van, but it's like Texas now. They're not paying to go in or out. Oh, there's a lot of freight in Arizona, so we're not paying you to go in. And then Arizona freight people are like, we never paid to get out. So, and then with California, Arizona becomes kind of it's affected by the California freight, especially Phoenix to LA. So let's sort this by highest rate, see where the long haul stuff's going. See if you can make a decent penny for the week. Phoenix to Northeast Maryland, 206 a mile. That's actually pretty good for coming out of Phoenix. Picks up, yeah, it doesn't pick up till the 16th, till the 20th. So they're trying to book ahead, but they've got some rate money on it. It says paper, so let's take a look at this one. I'd rather do this one. Phoenix to Fairburn picks up tomorrow. Goes to Georgia. I'd rather do this one because you don't have any tolls, unlike Maryland there. So 10,000 pounds, it's lighter, so you're going to net a little bit more, or about the same as the Maryland load. So yeah, they're actually now. Of course, it's going to Georgia, which we know Georgia. Tolleson to Orlando. This needs to come up a little bit because you're going to take your hit coming out of Orlando. Again, that's not till the 21st. So a lot of these loads are booking ahead. Tolga, what's up? Dio, yesterday JB Hunt announced Quantum, the new intermodal service, provides the consistency, agility, and speed needed to transport service sensitive highway freight using rail. How does this affect us? Well, so I talked about that a little bit earlier because Mother Trucker was talking about it. I said that in the beginning of the show here. And how that does affect you is that it's going to change the dynamics. And JB Hunt is one of those companies that will either create a situation or they see a situation occurring that they know that they need to capitalize on before everybody else does. So with them acquiring BSNF, that's a big deal. And so they're the ones that helped create this intermodal in the first place. Intermodal didn't exist. And they were the first ones to start putting their dry van trailers on train cars. And so what they're doing is they're seeing that, you know what? Now that we have warehouses, now that we don't have a just-in-time model, it's cheaper and easier to use the rail. And Sonars and Freightways has talked about that. So how that does affect is it's going to take away a lot of the cross-country stuff. And so if you want to do like if you're constantly doing loads from like New York to Washington, California to Florida or California back up to Pennsylvania, that kind of stuff, that's going to have to be specialized multi-stop stuff that can't be done on a rail. And then they're going to be able to hire more drivers inside these inner cities to do the intermodal, promising them a closest to a Monday through Friday 9 to 5 job as much as possible. That's what JB Hunt did. A few years ago, JB Hunt eliminated all their OTR drivers and made them only the lease drivers got the cross country stuff, and they moved to a more regional pattern. It was around that time that they started offering 5 days on, 2 days off, 500, 400, 500-mile radius. And I've had a couple of people I know that worked that and did okay with it. They were happy. It was like the closest to a 9 to 5 job, because face it, truck driving is hard. It's a hard lifestyle. People want their home time. People want routine. People want regularity. And it's hard to attract someone in the trucking business if you can't give them that. And so recognizing that, that's what they did. Same thing with the 360 app. Hey, if we can create a board, that drivers could dispatch themselves in both spot and our own contractors, then there you go. And the power only. So JB Hunt has always been innovative on changing many aspects of the industry, and that's what that will do. What that looks like to a T, I have no idea. But it's definitely going to change dynamics, and that's for the good or for the bad. It depends on how everybody adapts and what that looks like. So I would pay attention to that. I made my own skid pad on the 65 South 4024 interchange in Nashville. I look like Tokyo Drift and beeline to Walmart for a new set of drawers. Stu, it's been a long time, says Tolga. I'm very conflicted with this just-in-time stuff. Yes, shippers may want it gone, but does the consumer? Everybody wants the next day. Well, that's true. That's why you got to fill the warehouses. If I order a product from Amazon, if each Amazon warehouse is filled with the product I need, they're going to pick the shortest one. And as more warehouses get open, now I know that Amazon canceled a lot of orders for Amazon, so they're expecting demand to go down. But that's where relay trucks come in that can cover 1,000 miles in a day. So if it's a high selling product, they're going to have more on that on hand. If it's a low selling product, you expect to wait a little bit. That's how Walmart and Target and Home Depot and Lowe's can offer, hey, if our store doesn't have it, we can have it here tomorrow, because they just utilize their network, their logistics network. So, Will Burner, what's up? Hope you're healing up okay. So, hope you're surviving. So, yeah. Let's take a look at California. Let's see what rates are coming out of California. So, long haul rates out of Arizona are actually looking pretty good. So that's cool. There was a time where you were lucky to get $1.60 out of Phoenix. So that's good. Looks like freight, California. Let's see what's the highest rate. Let's look at the long haul stuff. 57.69 to go to Edgewood, New York. Let's see if that's New York City. I like how the map pops up here right off the bat. You kind of give a general idea. I say that now, it's giving me a circle of death. It's probably my internet. There it is. Yeah, it's a little bit close to the city there, so probably why it's paying so well. But then you got Ocala, 221 a mile, 5,600. Let's see what Cargo Chief is saying this is. And again, that's not till the 17th. That's not until next Friday. So they're definitely trying to secure the stuff in the bag before it needs to go out and be last minute negotiating. And it's way above Cargo Chief. So that's good. So yeah, so when I see a lot of stuff being over Cargo Chief and it doesn't have a bunch of multiple stops and stuff, that means the market is increasing in that area. So Phoenix has become, Arizona's become kind of a hot spot. It looks like it's going to hold those rates for a minute because obviously they're trying to book stuff for next week and the week after. So let's do the highest rate per mile. Oh, this is California we're talking about. So same thing. Rate per mile. Again, I told you. Take all my advice with a grain of salt. Take all my things that I say with a grain of salt. 423 a mile to go from Irwindale, California to Kingman, Arizona. Picks up at 2 o'clock on Friday. Or no, tomorrow. I don't know why I keep looking there. I got a calendar right here too. They're above the average there. Or the 44.5 on the weight. So delivers next day, 8 a.m. So you can grab this and then grab a decent paying load out of Phoenix there. Unlike Vegas would be a little bit more challenged to come out. A lot of loads going to Vegas. The majority of your highest paying short stuff is going to Arizona or Utah or Nevada and Colorado. That's a good lane. So you're looking at, this is a good weekend run. So you pick it up Friday at 1 p.m., deliver Monday at 7. 32. That's $1,000 a day for van, floor loaded TVs. So high security, obviously. And it's going to take a little bit to deliver. Now, I don't know if that's going to Costco or not, but that's a good paying load. Might even be able to talk them up $100. It's a good start to the week if you're leaving out on Friday. But then then you're dealing with coming out of Colorado. I would take that load because I have a way out of Colorado. So what direction is Dallas van freight heading this week? We could take a look at that. Nobody in a semi truck can match the running costs of a railroad operation ever. That's true. CDN Freight Broker, what's up? Good morning. Possibly back to work in a week or so. Good deal. Brunswick, Maine. Yeah, we could try that. Shannon's like, shut up. Don't laugh at me. All right, so let's honor CB first because he asked first. Let's do Dallas, Texas, to anywhere. For Van, we'll pick today, tomorrow, and the next day. Apply. So let's highlight CBs so we know. Search. All right. Here's Dallas to San Bernardino at $1.07 a mile there. There's your load, CB. Let's see. Let's take a look at highest rate here. See where the long haul stuff's going. Your highest paying load is $2.45 a mile. Go from Forney, Texas to Union Gap, Washington. 4,900. Wow. Wonder what's up with this load. That's way above. Actually, yeah, no, it's $1,000 over cargo chief. Rolled paper. Can you say 0 fuel mileage? But that's an option. That was just posted for today, so someone must have fell off that. See, you got loads going to Connecticut. Looks like you're in the $1.60 to $1.90 range for the long haul stuff. The highest paying rate per mile stuff is going to be probably into the Northeast or Florida or Colorado or inside the state. Yeah, look at all these $200-$300 deals. $600, $350, $400. If that's all you do all day, that may not work. Here's one. New Boston, Texas to Fort Bliss, Texas, $212 a mile, $1,700 for 801 miles, so 2 days work. Track shoe track shoe assembly. Almost sounds like it's for a flatbed. Says van though. So here's the pickup instructions. The driver must be a U.S. citizen with a clean background and 2 forms of ID. I'm seeing a lot of that. $250 deduction if the driver does not accept the tracking link. I'm seeing a lot of that. $100 if the driver is later than 12:30. No hot shots. I'm seeing a lot of that. So, let's see what their credit is. ARL Transport. They're not pre-approved by Thunder. I mean, you still have to check, but what's their credit score with TIA? Or Transcredit, I'm sorry. 94, 33 days to pay. So here's one going to Louisiana. $1,000 out of Garland. Tampa. So yeah. Now we're getting to Florida. Alabama is not bad usually to go into rate wise, but then you're struggling to get out. Yep. So there's what you're looking at Dallas there. So Brunswick, Maine, for our gal Shannon here. For the copper penny. Pretty penny. Obviously I don't know how to spell Brunswick. Okay. There we go. For what day, Shannon? Friday? Let's look at Friday. Let's take a All right. Your highest rate per mile is $1.52. $2.58, $462 going to Jersey City. No. Let's take a look at you don't want to do that, Shannon. Shannon doesn't want to go to Jersey City. All right, let's do the highest rate. Let's see where the long haul stuff's going. Houston, Eola, Kansas. That might not be too bad. Are you wanting to go back home, Shannon? Or you want to go back and get another load? Here's West Bridgewater, Mass to Grand Rapids. A bit of a deadhead on there. $1.17 a mile. So what I would do is I would grab one of these loads from Maine to Columbus. Shore hop to there, and then from there you can pretty much go wherever you want. This picks up Friday, delivers Monday, which fits your schedule kind of 841 miles. So if things are right, you could probably get a restart underneath that. Maybe, maybe not. So here's one to Flint, Wilmington, Mass to Flint, Michigan. Cargo Chiefs got it at 15. Rate checks at 937. So there's a lot of fluctuation there. So know your price, but also know the market. Minimum 3 months experience. So obviously they don't want it just anybody. But you gotta pay attention to this mileage because you're not going to go through Canada to get there, right? So you got to redo the mileage there. Let's see. And that's something you got to look out around the Great Lakes. Is that some brokers will post the air miles or miles going through Canada, and you don't want to do that. So not a whole lot. This other one, Vermont to Batavia, Illinois. From Illinois, you can go wherever you want. Do not pick. You could take this one to Brooklyn, have an experience for 84 cents a mile. Jeez, that's got to be a partial. Please be a partial. 11,000 pounds. Chip displays product. Yeah, there's something off with the info here. But yeah, definitely not no 84 cents a mile. So there's your Brunswick, Maine. Oh, tomorrow. Okay, well, let's edit this search then. Tomorrow. All right. Highest long haul is to Lakewood, Washington for 4,800, $1.55 a mile. You got Massachusetts to Martinsville, Virginia. Virginia is not that great to come out. Of course, you got New Jersey, New Hampshire, Denver, Pennsylvania. So you're looking at tolls there. Nothing. There's like a couple going in Ohio. So let's take a look at this Randolph to Lockburn. Cargo Chiefs got it at $12.91. You got $255 in tolls on that one. Who's the broker? Pepsi. Well, good luck getting a hold of them. So, not a whole lot. You might be better off expanding your search or So let's do that. Let's expand our search to 200 miles. See if that makes a difference. Does a little bit, but then you're looking at time, so it's got to have some generous window appointments to make it work. Oh, here we go. Plainville, Connecticut to Kansas City, Missouri. There's no cargo chief available, so it says LTL, so they're not going to pay anything on that. That's why cargo chief wasn't available on that. Springdale, Arkansas. Come visit the wife and I. You'll be near us. Well, no, you're probably going to own 40, so you probably wouldn't see that. Another LTL. So a lot of LTL being posted by Circle Logistics. Now, since you're emptying on Thursday, you can get this. You can get a load maybe to Syracuse, and then from Syracuse, you might be able to get a decent load to where you need to go. So, my name is Nobody. Good morning. Aren't we in the low rate market situation because carriers pushed up rates? If the rate is decent, isn't that good enough? Um, aren't we in the? Let me process here. Aren't we in the low rate market situation because carriers pushed up rates? If the rate is decent, isn't that good enough? I'm not sure what you're asking. You're likely seeing higher rates out of Phoenix due to truck availability. Typically, Phoenix has low availability. It takes time for a market to flip. That's probably it. I have to change that. Pale Rider TV, what's up? Glad to see you and your old name back. Let me fix something here. Cool Trucking Morning, Steve in chat. What's up? I need a good paying job with 3,000 plus miles a week. Can you name a few companies off? Um, where do you live? That's that can be kind of important. Rest Area Raccoon. Good morning. I love that profile pic. Nana's going to spend more in lobster than she makes getting out of Maine. Probably. Nana. CDM, we're in a low rate market because too many brokers jumped in the game. Now that volumes decreased, they're taking more off the top of each load just to survive. Kansas City Dry Man, Friday. Let's see if I got that already up here. No, that was 18. So Kansas City. You want to go anywhere? Want to make some serious miles there, Don? Let's do Kansas. I know you're going the Kansas side. For tomorrow. Oh, no, for Friday. Whoops. Do. Highest paying load is going to Stewart, Florida. $3,000, $255 a mile. A lot of long haul stuff, but if we do short haul, if we edit the search, which I know that's what Don likes to do, we'll just put Jeff City. Jefferson City is like kind of smack dab in the middle of the state. Let's do a 250-mile radius of that. Search. Not a whole lot. Remember, Don, it's, you know, there's a few things going on here that we've talked about. Lebanon, Iowa City. Is that the same broker that had that before? I think that's a different broker. Um, so Beatrice to Springfield, you can come hang out with me and take a look at the great thing that I emailed you about. Truck with T-Bone, good morning. You live in Illinois, Iowa. Um, I don't know about miles, um, but I would look at Transland out of Stratford, Missouri. They have a new terminal that they've built in St. Louis. So there's probably options for home time. And they do cross country trucking. They have loads that go to Washington, LA, Reno, um, all around Pennsylvania, that kind of thing. I would look at them. They're a good company. Um, I would see if Crete has like maybe some DC stuff to do in your area. Um, they got Crete terminals all over the place. I know they got one in Kansas City. Um, they got a small terminal in Tulsa, but I mean, they got terminals everywhere. But I would look. They would be a company that I know people are happy at. But but I would look more for the quality, not the quantity, because there's 3,000 miles a week. It's pretty hard running. But if you get a higher rate per mile, you wouldn't have to run as much. So, but those are the companies I would look at. Yes, anywhere. Okay, well, let's edit the search then. Let's go anywhere. You want to go to Florida? I'll book you a Florida load. Go to New Jersey. I'm gonna send on to New Jersey here. Spring Hill, Kansas, only 28-mile deadhead. Picks up at 2 a.m. So there's that. So probably not that one. Let's look at the tolls. See what that costs. $387 in tolls. You want to do that load for $1.77 a mile? Don's like, no. There's always these Edgerton to Phoenixes. Um, Neosho to Menominee, Wisconsin. None of these are breaking $2 a mile unless, well, this Chattanooga is, but you might as well be in Atlanta market there. Columbus, Georgia. So they're paying over $2 to go southeast. Edgerton to Denver. Now, I've done that for a lot more. So this is off a little bit. Picks up Friday, delivers Monday. 609 miles. So you can leave out Sunday morning. Pick it up Friday, leave out Sunday morning. But then, now we're struggling to get you back because I can't put you on the stuff that I get. Let's see. A lot of non-posted rates. So there's that. 2,500 at $3 a mile to go to Houston. That's interesting. Let's see what this is about. Yep, multiple stops. With the multiple stops, they're at 2,500. It says food, so Durant, Oklahoma. So if they're delivering food in Durant, it's probably going to Big Lots, maybe. Then you got Buda, Texas, Houston. I don't know where Buda is. Looks like they're in southern Texas. So, yep, two different brokers have always had it. Okay. Steve, advice from carriers is to always push up a rate, never take the posted rate. You said that load at 5,600 was a good rate, but then you said talk them up $100. When is a good rate enough? Um, it's one of those deals where if there's already a good rate, just trying to maximize, especially if you're going to a dead area. So it's creating more of a cushion, right? So I look at the general numbers of each driver, and I always ask for more. That's something that we've always done. There's been times when I've called on a load. I'm like, I'll take that rate because I knew it was a good rate already. So that's kind of you know it's a case by case situation. Being on the other side of the phone, I have not been talked up before. So, it depends on the individual. There are loads that I think are good loads that people wouldn't even give two looks at. And, there are drivers that call me, hey, I need you to help me get out of here. And I was like, well, here's 18 load options. They're decent rates. And he's like, no, those aren't good enough. And then the others are like so grateful to have what they've been given. So that's on an individual basis. But that 5,600 is fairly good for coming out of that area. So, random thought of the day. If everything has doubled in price, why would brokers quote shippers as if things were cheaper other than pure competition with other brokers? Well, you have brokers undercutting each other for volume. You see that all the time. So like for example, CH Robinson will have these loads that come out of Georgia all day and every day, and all of a sudden they're not. So I call my CH guy, what's up with that? I don't know, we don't have them anymore. Meanwhile, another broker is calling me like, hey man, we got these great Georgia loads. What rates you got on them? And they're like about 20% lower. I'm like, oh, I used to do these for this other broker and I was getting this much. Oh, yeah, we can't pay that. I'm like, well, that's what it takes for me to do that. Next thing you know, a month later, CH has got it again, back to the regular rates. So look, drivers will undercut you and brokers will undercut you. If you can easily price yourself out of any market. If you're waiting in Miami for $2 a mile for long miles, you're going to be sitting for about, I don't know, a long time. So, because you've priced yourself out of competition. So, that's just my thoughts. I don't know what I'm talking about. CDN, the good paying loads, especially now, are few and far between. Yes, we might hit a home run with one load, but how many more before and after did we take for the posted rate brokers not negotiating? There's very few times where I took a posted rate. So, Kathleen, Georgia to Aberdeen, my dispatcher attitude sucks. Oh, Sean. CDN and WCF Invader are getting in it. In my opinion, rate is secondary to relationship. CDN, there are brokers I will work with who will give me a good rate off the bat, and I will take it without negotiating. Yep, same. Go broker load and try to get more on every load. If I have little to no relationship with the broker, I always negotiate. If no relationship, I try to almost interview them to get a guide of how the broker will support me during the load. See, and sometimes I think you say things that are impractical for some of us to do at the moment. Why would I go out, get a brokerage when I'm still working to master the carrier part of the business? So you guys have your little discussion. I'm going to go look at load availability on reefer. Let's just take a look at that. Colorado, Utah. Look at Colorado be green. Let's take a look at that. Let's see what's up with that. Greeley, Colorado to Moberly, Missouri. Moberly is probably going to be Walmart. Picks up today at 3 o'clock. Cargo sheets got at 12:45. Minimum temperature 34, so it's fresh. Either that or it could be. Is it beer? No, it's too light for beer. Let's see. Let's see what the highest pan load is. Let's do highest rate. 244 a mile to go from Pueblo to Florida for reefer. 245 Lake Wales. So Colorado's actually not too bad. Trying to just edit that as we're speaking here. 210 a mile to go to Cartersville. So, wow, that's surprising me. I have not anyone on YouTube as carriers say I took the rate. Everyone says push rate, so there's no point looking at rate mate or cargo chief. Getting freight is easy. Getting $250,000 credit. By the way, none of those loads looked even decent. Snorelord. Yeah, I know. I'm curious, is it cheaper to idle for a week or take $1 a mile from Miami to Atlanta? At that point, you can either take the $1 a mile deadhead versus idling. That's the thing. I know drivers that will sit for 2 or 3 days but idle their trucks. Then when they finally get a load, it's like maybe 150 miles light, and then that screws up your DPF system. And they burned, gallon per hour idling. Idaho's lit up green. Actually, you know what? Let's go back to Colorado here. I want to take a look at something. So if we sort this by highest rate just do the highest rate. So your highest rate outbound is Pueblo to Riviera Beach, Florida. So that's $4,700. So what's the highest paying load coming inbound to Colorado? California to Niwot, Colorado. Here's you know here's $1.80 to go into Denver. That's interesting. Lemoore, California. Oh yeah, it's because it's coming out of Denver. So Lemoore, California to Denver is 266 a mile. So the inbound is not much different than the outbound, which is, it's a little bit higher, but not by much. But it looks like all the best inbound is coming from the Northwest. Well, here's one: Lebanon, Tennessee to Denver. Of course, that's southeast, so it's a little bit lower. And yeah, I consider Tennessee kind of southeast. That's how they treat the rates, anyways. So if your costs are only $2 a mile, you can do really good going in and out of Denver right now. Let's take a look at Missouri. Highest paying long haul is posted. These are posted rates, by the way. $317 to go to Mechanicsville, Virginia. Haines City, Florida, out of Webb City. That's Joplin area. Carthage, that's the Caves. $1.61 to go to California, of course. Alabama, higher rate. Hickory, North Carolina. St. Louis, Joplin to Van Buren Township, Michigan. Decent 2-day run. Picks up Monday, delivers, well, they got it delivering Tuesday. So, picks up Monday at 6 a.m., delivers Tuesday at 6:15 a.m., and you lose an hour, and it's 800 miles. If those times are accurate. Have fun with that. St. Louis to Philly. Wonder if this is beer. Let's take a look at. No, that's Columbia. Hold on. Let's go back. Let's take a look at these St. Louis to Phillies. Doesn't say if it's beer or not. You guys can stare at that map. I'll read some comments. Cargo Chief is a good negotiation tool. Why brokers, no carrier or condition ask for more? I see all the time. A dispatcher also asks for more. When I ask how or why they come up with a rate, no words. They just want more. If I ask for more, I give them reasons why I do. I don't just because I want it, right? Now the carrier negotiate with me. They set the price and I went with it. And they didn't ask for more. And so that's the thing. If you want to ask for more, like on that Phoenix load, I'd be like, well, fuel's kind of high down there. If I can get another, X amount, that will help alleviate the fuel a little bit. And now I know it's not their concern, but I'm going to use that. I'm going to have a reason, like, well, it's a weekend load or there's an extra day on it, that kind of thing. But if it's a good rate, I'll take it. I don't always negotiate up. My point is, if you run a brokerage or brokered freight, people shouldn't bash without insight and understanding what it takes to run a successful brokers. Brokers can't bash carriers. I think you're asking for why. In my case, I'm able and willing to do more than most carriers to keep the broker updated, give live tracking, have the tools for procurement, send paperwork. And that's the kind of things that you throw. Well, I'm asking for $100 more dollars, but I'm going to do this, this, and this, and this. That kind of thing. I will be putting out a video today or tomorrow about how to survive logistics in 23-24. Everyone can hate on my presentation. See, Dan, I don't hate you. Oh, I think I know where you're coming from, CDN. I did blame brokerages in the past month or so. I've learned that you all are not entirely to blame. In all honesty, we're all to blame. I've always said that. I've always said that we are our own worst enemies. I respect your opinion, CDN. Love learning. Just like how there are bad carriers, there are bad brokers. You're not one of the bad brokers, I can tell, CDN. I see things from both sides, so it's kind of interesting. And I learn because of my knowledge of both sides, it's helped me with both sides. So, but there's still a lot I need to learn. So, all right, let's take a look at flatbed. That's ugly. Northwest is green. The middle's green. And the lower right hand corner is green. So all these are a lot of loads going into Colorado, but not coming out. Kansas, Oklahoma, same way. A lot of inbound, but no outbound. Whereas Idaho's got 233 outbound and 67 inbound. So, FYI, as a solo broker agent, I need over $1 million in customer credit to manage my book of business. This is why brokers are going out of business. Brokers are banks for customers. Logistics is not easy. And yeah, look, debt is going up everywhere. I've got a friend that sends me credit reports, and they're very telling of a lot of companies that I wouldn't think would be struggling. So, but yeah. Here's the reality. A lot of companies in general, I'm talking other businesses, other industries, drivers, brokerages, trucking companies, everybody is feeling what's going on right now. Everybody. And everybody's reacting differently to it. How you react to that and how you react to other people's reactions, I know that sounds redundant, but trust me on that, is the name of the game. It's how you're going to persevere through this. You know, I've had people say, Steve, your videos have been very informative and enlightening. And then the same video gets a comment, dude, this is all doom and gloom. This is very depressing. What's the difference there? The perception. And I've brought this example up before, but I'm going to do it again because I tend to be redundant and say the same things. But when I was over at Schneider, I would talk to two Schneider finance guys. They might even have the same color trucks, live and run out of the same areas. And one comes up to me and goes, man, I can't make it work, man. This sucks, man. Snyder's doing this and Snyder's doing that. And the freight is doing this. And I can't find a load to save my life. Blah, blah, blah. I'm not making it. Then the other guy is like, man, I'm doing great over here. I love it. Yeah, my payment's high, but I'm making it work. I live in a great area. I have this. I have this. I have this opportunity. I have this opportunity. What's the difference between their trucks and freight pool is exactly the same. What's the difference? It's mindset. And CB, you bring up a good point. Some people are old enough to remember tough economic times. We've seen this before. Some people haven't. And I was having that conversation with a friend of mine last week. He and I were talking about our history of our conversations through down markets. And but it's not just a market condition, it's an economic condition. For example, I had learned the other day that Dollar General in Fulton is no longer taking deliveries on weekends. How much volume do you have to lose, or how much demand has to go down for a distribution center to not take deliveries on weekends? That's the reality of the situation we're in. Is it manageable? It depends on how your mindset is. Only you can open up those opportunities. You can have 20 opportunities set in front of you, but if you don't have the right mindset, you're not going to see them. And face it, a lot of drivers right now are just playing, I'm just surviving. I don't even think I'm doing that. And so they see doom and gloom, and they don't see opportunity anymore. They don't see how they could stand out. They don't see how they can capitalize. All they're doing is hoping that they can pay for that dozer valve that's about to go out because they've been idling too long, or they don't have the money to maintain their DPF systems. It's all about mindset and the ability to see, hey, things aren't working, so I need to do something different. You know, the ability to pivot. You also need the ability to see when to pivot. I lost one of my best clients, one of my best runners, because he took all the observations. Instead of freaking out, he put himself in a better position, and now he's not worried about any of this, making 3 times the money he was before. Because he adapted, he overcame. He just didn't give up. He saw opportunity. He looked at historical facts. He saw the writings on the wall. CDN says, I appreciate your insight perspective to learn as well with WCF. And WCF says, I appreciate yours as well. In the future, once I master the carrier portion, I do intend on opening a brokerage. That is long-term plan, though, not going to be doing that anytime soon. I would love to see a live discussion between CDN and WCF. I would love to see that. I think that would make for good YouTube. Winter's upon us. Make sure you get a CO detector in the rig. That is true. I had one. That's why the people of Kentucky and Virginia get what they get. They continue to elect the people that got us into this economic crisis. And that is true. That is true. I'm glad I ran like the wind when it was good. There you go, Lima Bravo. That's true. I'm guilty of not running enough when rates are good. I'm guilty of that. Hope is a terrible business plan. That is true. And there's a lot of people losing hope because that's all they had. And so now their mind is fogged up and they're not seeing any other opportunities. And so to analyze and self-analyze is important. So, all right, guys, that's it for today. I got to get to work. Hold on, one more comment. LOL, Snorelord. I'd love to, but I'm having trouble finding time for the live with Sterling. Would be very informative, I believe, though. Well, it doesn't even have to be live. You can do it on StreamYard, record it, and then upload it. But, you know, if you have a question for a broker, CDN can answer. And if CDN has a question for a carrier, you can. CDN always does great when he's on my live feeds. So he's always a great person to talk to as well. I appreciate his friendship quite a bit, and you as well. So I appreciate everybody in here, actually. Strength for today, hope for tomorrow, guys, and we'll see you Friday. So with that being said, later.